Okay, number 35, here we go. So I'm just going to squiggle right there for a second. Numerator, obviously I factor out a cotan of x. Cotan of x, secant squared of x, minus 1. Now when I look at that secant squared of x minus 1, I immediately think that might be an identity, and it is tan squared of theta, or tan squared of x. So now I'm going to cross this off. I'm going to write tan squared x. Now before I even get into that, I want to think if I can make that any easier. So I'm still doing the numerator, right? So cotan, isn't that defined as cosine of x over sine of x? And tangent squared, isn't that the same as sine of x over, what's that, cosine of x? But it happens twice, right? So I can do that. And look, I'm left with just a normal tan of x in the numerator. Okay? Let me get a little more room for you. So now I have in the numerator just a tangent of x. Okay? Down here, this one's a little bit trickier. I look at this for a second and I say, well, I'm doing this right now, right? I'm going to write that as sine of x over 1. Tan is going to be sine over cosine, right? And I'm going to write cosine of x over 1. Well, I definitely want a common denominator. I think I want to make it cosine. So if I go like this, does that work? Now, if you're with what I'm saying here, doesn't that give me sine squared of x over cosine of x plus cosine squared of x? Okay, and I think about it for a second. I'm like, well, isn't that the same thing as 1? Isn't that your Pythagorean identity? So if I agree with that, let's see what I have here. I know it's getting kind of messy here. I'll fix that in a second. So now I have tan of x. Where can I write? Tan of x over 1, if that helps. This is 1 over cosine of x. And then I get tan of x. Sorry, I could have rewritten that better. I'm just going to write that as sine over cosine now. Sine of x over cosine of x. And I'm multiplying by cosine of x over 1. And we're done. Good job.